Napoleon Hill once said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit." And we couldn't agree more. This is Lift Me Up. We're here to have candid conversations about something we all face, trials and heartache. We're here to explore the positives that emerge from these things. We have a blast. Remember, no matter how tough things may seem, there's always a way to rise above. This is Lift Me Up.
Welcome, everybody, to Lift Me Up. It's wonderful to have everybody back again. And still kicking, still alive and rocking and rolling in this season 3. And excited to start another one and get a little bit further along the lines here. So, Mike, we got a wonderful, well, it's good to see you with your wonderful St. Louis hat. But sorry, I had to pick something up. And then we've got a guest.
They're not in the World Series, but that's okay. I have to prove that I'm a fan at all times.
You know what's wild? You know that hat that you bought when we were in St. Louis, the one with the bat arch?
Yeah.
I saw somebody on a Instagram reel that was wearing that exact hat.
Oh, really?
And I was like, whoa.
I almost wore it this morning, but
that's crazy.
I haven't worn this one in a while.
Well, it's perfect. Anyway, so, and we do have a guest today, Jordan. It's good to have you on here. We'll give you a chance to tell us a little bit about yourself and everything, but it's wonderful to connect and have you on here with us. So why don't we kick it off? I know usually we always start with that wonderful lift me up moment. Mike, you want to kick us off with your lift me up a moment for this week? And, let's hear it.
It was, I know, man, mine is an interesting one. It's not, I don't even know. I can't get my words straight today, which is pretty normal for me.
That's going to be fun.
Last night was obviously Halloween. I'm not going to say that it was trick-or-treating with my kids
not
because
obviously, but
wandering. Oh yeah. Well, for you guys, you two on this podcast, sorry, I didn't mean to date stamp this, but anyway, let's see. So the walking around was not the highlight of my night. It was better weather than it was last year, so that was good. But no, we had spent some time at some friends in the neighborhood's house last night. Megan will probably kill me for I was kind of in a bad mood a little bit, but it was kind of cool. Towards the end of the night, literally there were like 50 kids at this house just roaming around, running around, and it turned into a karaoke night.
No.
And they brought up on the TV just different songs and karaoke, and literally the entire house was just dancing and singing to random songs, anywhere from religious, church songs to your Benson Boones and things like that. But it's kind of one of those things that it brought me out of it a little bit. And I wasn't in a bad mood. It was just like wandering around a neighborhood, running after kids, telling them to not run on, yards and things like that. But yeah, it was kind of a fun experience seeing all these kids sing and dance and yell and scream and just have fun. It was cool, a cool experience. Just kind of lifted my spirits that night when I was already in a little bad mood, I guess you could say. But Megan will agree if she were on here. So yeah, that was my lift me up. It just, simple things like that can kind of bring you out of your funk. And I noticed it last night, and I actually told myself I was going to use that. So, but yeah.
So your lift me up was getting out of a bad mood?
Yeah, it was. Sometimes
karaoke lifted
I did
you
not sing,
out of a
but
bad mood.
It was fun to watch everybody.
I think that would have put everybody in a good mood had you been the one singing.
Yeah,
only
standing up on
it's comical.
There's a couple kids standing up on the coffee table dancing. It was funny. But anyway, that was mine. very simple, but it was something I noticed that I was in a funk, but it brought me out of it. And it's sometimes you have to notice those little things, you know? So
Yeah. Well, that's good.
what about yours? Did
Well,
you come up with one yet?
oh man, yeah. Like I thought of the joy of not trick or treating. That
Yeah.
was a highlight for me. Um, no, this week I celebrated a birthday this
Oh
week,
yeah.
and I got a little bit older, and I felt every bit of it. Yeah, I'm the big 4-5, so I'm
Rolled out of
halfway.
bed and you definitely felt it.
Man, I spent most of the week up in Montana working, and with some of the stuff that we had to do in one of our warehouses, it required a lot of crouching and a lot of bending over and a lot of stuff like that. And that was on Monday. Tuesday, I was toast. I could barely walk. Like my legs, my hamstrings. All right. Jordan's sitting there going as a doctor going, you, sir, need to probably exercise.
we,
but
we all do.
I don't. Anyway, but I came home. I ended up getting home Wednesday night, and which was my birthday, and went out to dinner. Struggled, walking. It was just sore muscles, right? Like I wasn't. Anyway, just sore. Man, I am. You know what lifted me up this week? My massage gun. My massage
Uh,
gun, working those muscles over and helping me recover, and it definitely did that. So on a literal moment of lifting me up, my
yeah.
massage gun allowed me to actually get up. So I know it's
It
weird. It's a
probably
weird
doesn't help that
one,
you're in
but
a hotel bed for weeks on end.
yeah, I mean, everybody knows that I travel a lot. I think the final number, I stayed the night in a hotel 2/3 of the month of October. So total of 11 nights spent in my own bed. The rest of the time I was in a hotel. So kind of crazy. I don't think
Yeah.
November is going to be that way, thankfully. October just happened to turn into that. But anyway, so
Yeah.
as is tradition, we want to give Jordan, our guest here, an opportunity, first of all, to share your lift me up moment, and then we'll get into a little bit of a conversation, get to know you a little bit more, and go from there. So, what's your
Cool.
lift me up, Jordan?
I'm going to take a page out of Mike's book because trick or treating is not always the most fun thing for parents, but uh, it seems like as you get older, you kind of see, I don't know, you see different holidays differently than when you were a kid, and it seems like Halloween is uh, just kind of changing, kind of almost like the spirit of it is dying a little bit. And my pick me up moment is definitely seeing those houses that you go to, and you see the people that are like really into Halloween and love making it exciting for the kids. We had a few of those houses last night that, you know, a lot of people put the candy on the doorstep, and I'm certainly one of those people. But uh, you knock on the door, they open the door, there's decorations everywhere, they're dressed up, they're excited, the kids get all pumped. And we had that a couple times last night, and that was, kind of got to see Halloween from the perspective of your kids, and thinking back to when you were a kid. Just kind of cool. It's kind of my
Yeah.
pick me up moment. I'll take that from Mike's book.
That's a good one.
But
Speaking of, there was one guy, Nate actually knows who he is, Steve Belknap. He lives in my
Yeah.
neighborhood. Anyway, he was dressed up to the nines in a scarecrow outfit. So like from Wizard of Oz. And legit, he like played the character to a T. He's out there handing out candy. He didn't even like, he was out on his porch doing it. and he just kept saying like, "Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year," and all the kids are like, "It's Halloween." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, my brain doesn't work." Like playing the
Oh,
character of
wow.
no brain. It was
That's cool.
spectacular.
That's
So
cool.
it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. So,
I
but
love
yeah, no,
people that
that's
have
awesome.
the creativity to do that.
Oh
Here's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing. I ended up part of my night, part of my night, it went prior to trick or treating. We went over to the mall. I got a new battery in my iPhone, right? And we're sitting there at Pretzel Maker, like snacking on some pretzels and people watching. And I remember turning to Cammy and I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand Halloween. Like I just don't get it. I've never been like at all. I mean, internally as a family, my entire family knows that I'm not a Halloween person. Don't enjoy it. Just doesn't. I don't get it. Um, in fact, the last memory I have of dressing up for Halloween was probably when I was 10. I do not remember dressing up for Halloween past 10 because I just didn't
I don't.
care. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't
So,
remember ever seeing pictures like as us as kids with you ever in them.
I mean, I was a Care Bear. Me
Oh.
and Melissa were Care Bears. I was Sunshine Bear. So
Mm.
I remember that outfit. Mom made my Sunshine. Me and Melissa made these Care Bear outfits, and
Jeez.
that's honestly the last thing I remember about Halloween. And I think the only reason I remember that is because I have a picture of Melissa and I dressed up. That's the only reason I remember it.
Yeah,
But I just didn't like Halloween. It was never something I did. So walking
because you had
around
to.
and watching people, I'm just like, what in the? I'm like, I'm mildly disappointed in adults. Like I have this level of disappointment in how adults conduct themselves.
Yeah.
And she's like, would you just get over it? Like seriously. I mean, there's no reason for you to be all bah humbug about Halloween. It's just fun. It's a way to be
Mm-hmm.
something different. But and I'm going to share probably an unpopular opinion, okay? Because why
Well,
not?
you've already lost half of our viewers already, so go ahead, just keep going.
Have you heard the people, those like teenagers that are out trick or treating, young adults out trick or treating? What is the one thing that most people will say when you say, "Why are they out here?" Do you know? It's
No.
usually well, they could be out doing something far worse. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, so we just give them a free pass one day a year? Like, what's that all about? Why don't they just do okay stuff all year round instead
This
of,
is
oh, they could be out doing other things, so they're trick or treating. Well, guess what? I don't really want to give you candy just because you get a free pass one day a year. So there it is. I'm off my high horse, but that's the
start handing
frustrations
out
of,
toothbrushes.
you know what? Apples and
All right.
toothbrushes.
Okay.
You
There you go.
know.
Sounds great.
Anyway, so well, there you go. I feel like I should
There's
just like slowly exit.
okay, everybody reel back in, please. Reel back in. We've got a good guest. We do want you to hang around for a little while.
So why don't you introduce our guest, Mike?
So this is Mr. Jordan Jex, or excuse me, Dr. Jordan Jex. He's a real doctor. Sorry,
Because
not a
that's what he
Dr.
goes
Cam.
around saying is, "Hello, I'm Doctor
Yeah,
Jordan
Yeah,
Tag."
yeah.
certainly not.
But Jordan is my brother-in-law. He is currently in his residency in for medical school as an ER doctor. So I'm not going to take that away. I'm going to let Jordan introduce himself, kind of give us a little bit of a backstory on himself, and maybe some, obviously some of your backstory on your career, and then we'll just kind of dive into some content and questions.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah, I'm currently in my third and last year of residency as an ER doctor. Um, my background story is nothing exciting, that's for sure. I graduated high school, went on an LDS mission in South America. I went to Chile. When I got home, started undergrad at BYU Idaho. Met my wife. We got married. Decided to run the gauntlet of medicine and try to go to medical school. Did the 4 years in Utah, and now we are in Las Vegas for residency. And I guess I have like 8 months left, so until I'm full fledged on my own. So
with
it's
with all the stuff that comes with it.
with all the stuff that comes with the good, the bad, the good and the bad. So
Awesome.
So what school did you go to in Utah again?
I went to Rocky Vista School of Osteopathic Medicine. It's in It's in Ivins, Utah, really St. George area. So we were there in 2019, and I did some training back up here for a couple of years during school for some rotations, but for the most part, we were down there. So went
Right.
from hot weather in Vegas, in St. George, to even hotter weather in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
True.
So that process of choosing Vegas as your spot, were there any other locations that were high on your list that did come through that you chose Vegas over, or that Vegas just ended up being the best spot location for you?
Well, the way that it works for residency coming out of medical school is you do a bunch of interviews with different programs, and then you rank all the programs that you interviewed with just on a list, and you submit the list, and all the programs that interviewed everybody, they rank all their interviewees on a big list, and they throw it in a supercomputer, and it spits out basically who has accepted you and where you're
Hmm.
going. So there's not a lot of choosing other than just ranking where you want to go. I was fortunate enough to get my number one pick. Um, but other places that I enjoyed that I went was down in Texas. I went to Temple, Texas, and worked for a month in an ER down there for Texas A&M. That was a really cool experience. And then I went and worked at the University of Oklahoma for a month as well, and enjoyed my time there. And ultimately, we kind of decided Vegas is where we wanted to end up. So luckily,
Mm.
it worked out.
I never
It's
knew the
cool.
process of, and that's why they call it match, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yep,
I never knew that
yep,
process.
yep. You submit your list, and then like a month later, you find out where you're going. So
Huh.
it's a long process.
It's like the military being told, "All right, this is where
Yeah,
you're going."
yeah,
Like,
kind of.
okay, okay.
I feel like that one's a little more forceful, but
Like, I don't want to go to Missouri.
yeah.
Yep.
There you go. So, what hospital are you at down there in Vegas?
I work. Yeah, I work at two different hospitals. One is Sunrise Hospital. It's basically just off the strip. Uh, that's a pretty wild place to work. You see all sorts of stuff there. And the other hospital is Mountain View Hospital in Las Vegas. So no affiliation with the Mountain View Hospital in Idaho Falls, but yeah, those two, I kind of split my time between those.
Wow. Like, so, I mean, obviously, it's probably only you can share a little bit of stories, I'm guessing, without the names have been withheld for the protection of all those involved, type of thing.
For
But
sure, for sure.
what are some of the most memorable, stories that you have as an ER doc? I happen to, this. I happen to have a brother-in-law. We talk a lot, that is an ER doc and has been for forever. Um,
Yeah.
and so he and I have some really fun conversations around his experiences. But
Mhm.
I'm curious as to kind of what's been most memorable in your, 2.5 years so far in Vegas.
Yeah, the really the most memorable ones are they're memorable for one of a few reasons. Either they're, terrifying and what some people refer to as sphincter tightening moments, and
Yeah.
that they're memorable because they're terrible and sad and awful, or they're kind of funny. There's lots of Vegas is the knife and gun club. Sometimes it feels like, and so we see a lot of gunshots and uh, stabbings and crazy car accidents and stuff like that is very high on the list of things that we see every day. But um, this the most memorable ones are when somebody comes banged up, awful, on the brink of death, and you see, as an ER provider, you don't always get to see what happens to them because you're kind of just stabilize and get them to somewhere else, that the ICU or wherever it is. So we don't always get to see really much improvement sometimes in people, and we just hope it kind of works out for the best. But the cool moments are the people that truly come in on the brink of death, and you're able to stop and reverse that process, and you get to see the fruits of your labor. And sometimes people will come in and for all intents and purposes, they'll uh, look dead, and uh, by the time they're leaving, they're talking to you and smiling and grateful, and just moments like that are kind of why we do what we do. And there's certainly a lot of the opposite end of that. There's not a lot of gratitude, but those moments that you are able to help someone and they are able to show their appreciation is just awesome. That's the reason I chose emergency medicine in the first place. So
Yeah,
That's
that's kind of
cool.
almost depressing in the sense of like you're I never really thought of it that way, in the sense of like you don't get to see that end result as often. Whereas
yeah,
like other doctors that are, a surgery or ICU, even getting them out of ICU, they've gotten to the point of, recovery. But yeah, you're literally just, if it's like they come in, they're good enough to go home, they go home. If not, then they have to go move on to somewhere else. I've never really thought of it that way. And that's kind of so that leads into that question, I guess. How mentally, I mean, is there any sort of like, through schooling of emergency medicine, is there any sort of like discussion on mental toughness? I mean, do they go through that mental health side of it, as far as like, because you're not going to see some of this, and you guys have to be okay with that, that kind of a thing.
I can't think of anything specific that has been taught to us or we've been trained to handle things like that. But I think it's just something that you learn as you go. I remember when I first started out, that was really difficult for me, to not know what happened to people, and in some ways, it's almost a little anxiety inducing because you just you wonder, like, did I do the right thing? And if you don't know the end result, how are you supposed to learn from that?
Yeah.
But you get more comfortable with it, and I think as you see, you know, the both ends of the spectrum between extremely sick people and people that are there for a sprained toe, which most uh, can be an emergency for some people, but you see kind of both ends of that, and you learn to I don't know, compartmentalize what is. That's like one of the first things we learn is like, what does a sick person look like? Is this person really in trouble, or are they going to be okay? It's just stuff that you learn as you go along, and sometimes we don't always have the answers. Some people come into the emergency department, and it's a little bit frustrating that they don't have a reason for their chest pain, and um, totally understandable. And sometimes that's hard for me too because I want to know what's going on, but uh, we just kind of have to learn that our job is to rule out any emergencies. So, beyond that is for the most part beyond my scope of medicine, and let somebody that's more well trained in the non-emergent causes of chest pain kind of take over from there. So, the family medicine providers and specialists and everything that we can refer people to take a lot of the load off of us in terms of all that stuff.
What was it that led you to emergency medicine? I mean, there's a whole
It's kind of,
slew of options. So,
yeah. It's kind of funny. It was always in the back of my mind. I remember walking in first week of medical school, and we were walking around the school. They were kind of showing us the different clubs that people were a part of, and one was the emergency medicine club, and they were showing people on a simulation how to intubate, so put a breathing tube down someone's throat. And I remember seeing that and thinking that was really cool. That's what my dad does. My dad does anesthesia. So medicine has always kind of been in my life, but I saw that and kind of started going to some of the activities and seeing all the kind of the, for lack of a better term, like the sexier things that ER docs do, and fixing broken bones and putting big IVs in people and stuff like that are like quote unquote exciting, I guess. Just kind of got kind of led down that path, and so about halfway through my third year of medical school, I did a rotation, actually in Blackfoot, and it was like a month of nights, and I thought I would hate it, and I actually looked forward to all of my shifts, even though long shifts overnight, and I've got a wife and kids at home, and I really thought that I was going to hate life, but loved it, and kind of took that as a sign that that's probably what I was supposed to do, and just from then on ran with it, and it's worked out so far.
it's cool. I had a question that popped into my mind, and then listening to that response, I forgot it. So maybe it'll come back to me.
So I will ask, just kind of, we've kind of got a good picture of some of the things you deal with on a pretty regular basis, which, like I said, could be very daunting, depressing, anxiety filled. There has to have been some form of light throughout all those, experiences, whether it's with the patient or within yourself or anything of that. Like, our focus on this podcast obviously is finding ways to move forward through life's challenges, right? You pretty much face that every day with every patient you come across, and I'm sure some are better than others. But how have you? Let's just ask you a personal one. How have you found ways to continue to move forward? And then, second part of that question: are there any experiences with any of with all of that you see every single day, that you've seen forms of light of people being able to move forward, and maybe family members that have brought goodness to that person while they're in a tough spot, or anything of that nature, I guess?
Yeah. So yeah, any job is difficult for different reasons. Mine is certainly not any different than that. I think for the most part, what kind of keeps me going, you just have to remember why you're doing it. At least for me, that's what keeps me going through the long hours in residency. You're kind of just working all the time, and so that can get in and of itself can be pretty depressing and hard to keep trudging along. But I have such a cool job in the sense of I see people on their work. A lot of people, the worst day of their lives, I'm seeing them, and so I just have to keep reminding myself that I've been there. I've been in the emergency department. I know you have, Mike. It's not fun for anybody, and as much as I'm happy to help people, uh, it, you just have to get past the pain and suffering that you're seeing, and remember that, this is a human being, and whether it is an actual real emergency or not, they are suffering in some way. And so, uh, I've kind of taken it upon myself to like find the challenge, find the emergency, whether it's the toe sprain or, the heart attack. You just have to really invest in people, and instead of just like treating people like numbers, or like just another annoyance that's keeping you busy on a crazy shift, or something along those lines. So um, that's how it is for me. I go back to my experiences in the ER. Or, my kid has been in the ER, and I just have to think about anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed. Man, like how awesome was it to have a good doctor take care of my daughter when she broke her collarbone, or things like that, and trying to be that source of light for other people. And in turn, you find that other people, for the second part of your question, you find family members that inspire you, or patients that inspire you. And mostly when it comes to extremely sick people, I'll see it all the time where someone will come in, the paramedics will bring someone in cardiac arrest, and we're doing chest compressions, we're doing everything that we can, and some of the most amazing experiences have been actually seeing the family members respond to that awful, awful situation, and how some people just have amazing faith, or even if they're not a religious person, just seeing people be able to find peace in moments like that is just so cool. Because I think if any of my family members, anyone was in that situation, I would be a total mess. And so I take a lot of inspiration from seeing people stay strong, um, for their family members, or just for themselves, or whatever it may be. And it's just, those are really kind of awe-inspiring moments that I have to take a step back and just kind of reaffirm that, this is really amazing what I do, and people are amazing, um, for a whole host of different reasons.
It's amazing. That's awesome. I think that's probably one of those um, the self-reflection that comes with being in a position like that, when it's all chaotic around you, and you're like, okay, I got to get through and remember the humanity surrounding my what I've chosen to undertake as a profession, and then being able to to have the, I guess, bedside manner, if you will, right, to show empathy towards those that are hurting. And yeah, that's amazing. um pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So I did remember my question. It's kind of weird. I mean, what else is new? um I had a conversation with somebody not too long ago, ironically not my brother-in-law, that's in emergency medicine, and we got on the topic of um, like the TV shows that glamorize and create this like weird persona surrounding the medical profession of the ER profession, or ER doctors. Um, and he was telling me, he said, I cannot possibly tell you how not true those shows are. I was like, what? I'm like, no way. Like, it's ER, man. It's like, it was a 90s staple. Like, I mean, I grew up remembering ER, and into my
Yeah.
20s of that show. And then you have branch offs and versions of all of them that are a little bit different. And I've always wondered, um, what is your take on that, first of all? And is there a glimmer of reality that is exhibited in any of those shows, when you do have a chance to find time to maybe catch a glimpse of one?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's maybe a glimmer. We'll say that, a glimmer of reality. In a
That
lot
they're
of the
in white
shows,
coats and that's about it.
even white coats, there're not a lot of, at least many ER doctors that I know that even wear the white coat,
Oh, yeah.
uh, but a lot of those shows, I mean, it's meant to be entertaining, right? And um, they do a good job of that for sure. Uh, what I would say, the unrealistic side of it is just all they're seeing what we call zebras. So they're seeing the one in a million things
Yeah.
multiple times every single shift. um, and that certainly is not reality, at least in terms of my experience. Uh, so they a lot of times they'll be doing things that maybe ER doctors will see once in their career, and they're doing it multiple times every shift. So kind of it is entertaining to watch, I will say, and sometimes I just have to sit back and laugh. But for the most part, I mean, they're pretty entertaining to watch.
Well, that's what they're
So
supposed to be, I guess. It's entertaining.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually
Somebody
thought that the
renewed
other
it
day
for the
because
30th season, right?
yeah,
yeah,
I've got a couple friends that are lawyers, and I've been watching Suits, and so I'm like, I wonder
oh yeah,
how intense. Like, I mean, is this like this is just not like why would you do that motion, and why would you do that? Like, I just
yeah,
wonder what real doctors and real lawyers and think of those situations briefly. But
yeah.
It's quite
so
comical.
it is. So let's ask a little bit more of a personal question. On the family front,
Yeah.
how has the experience been for? I mean, I've never really talked to your wife, Kelsey, much about her side of, you know, I know she is a stay-at-home mom, and so she
Mhm.
spends a lot of time at home without you there. And so, like, I'm sure you guys have had plenty of conversations about the future and how you are deal with this, but like how has that been for them? And maybe we'll have her on someday to give that experience, but just from
Yeah.
your perspective and your conversations with her.
Yeah, in some ways, I have the luxury of going to work. I think she would probably say some days. Um, yeah, no, it takes a lot, man. The medical spouses are amazing in and of themselves. I've kind of been, I don't know if like fortunate is the right word to say, but I have three kids, three daughters. I have a 7-year old, a 3-year old, and a 1-year old, and I've had each of them during different stages of life. So my 7-year old we had before medical school, 3-year old we had during medical school, and my 1-year old we had during residency. And so it's been interesting to see how the challenges have changed over that time, with each kid, not only just adding numbers, but also we're in a different stage of life now than we were, uh, you know, 2.5, 3 years ago. Um, but one of the amazing experiences for me, I'll speak for myself, and then I'll maybe speak for Kelsey. It's been amazing for me to watch her grow into that. As it's almost been our whole marriage now. What 7 of our 10 years I've been kind of just working all the time or just having to study all the time, and watching her kind of grow independently has been really amazing. But it's also super important and something that we've kind of had to grow into together, learning how to take advantage of the little time we do have together, um, and how to split that with the kids, and keep those relationships strong. And I'm blessed with an amazing wife that holds the fort down. Um, and I have three awesome kids that are great kids, and uh, luckily for me, they're excited to see me when I come home, and that's just about all I need to keep going. So I don't know what I would do if they didn't care if I was home.
Well, I'll tell you how that is later because
Yeah.
sometimes they don't even realize I'm gone.
Uh,
But no,
Literally.
well,
There's literally been
yeah.
conversations where Mike's been gone. Megan's been like, wait, the boys just asked where you were.
Yeah, and
They had
I've been
no
gone
idea.
for like 2 days.
Like, oh,
Yeah, because like I have some, and I know Kelsey was in the same boat. Like I have a close friend, Dustin, we've had on the
mhm.
podcast, where their wives have never left Idaho before, and so being pulled away
Oh yeah.
on their own, away from their family. I know your guys's was just to St. George and whatever, but
Uh-huh.
like his was like all the way out to Florida, and
Yeah.
so like it's cool when you talk about like finding their independence. I mean, they just found a way to move forward and say this is our future, this is our current, and being able to find their own way to you know I guess yeah continue to move forward and just deal with the situations that they're dealt. And I think that's part of life, is seeing that in ourselves, and you know seeing that we can do it. I mean, it's difficult. I tell people all the time, I have no reason to leave Idaho, but in the event that something came up that I needed to, I'd do it. I would make it just part of what I needed to do. Nate had to come back. I know it was easy for him to leave, but probably not as easy to come back. But stuff like that, I think it's cool.
It was easy to come back because I think you listen to the reasoning. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
like you're guided to places on purpose. I think we all can agree to that. Um, and yeah, I mean, I have a an affinity for the what most of those that have to go through the schooling process and residency and all your different your the shifts you put in different ways and weird times of being overnights or whatever, and being away from what you would consider home, right? um I left after high school and really didn't come back. I mean, I was here for maybe 6 months, and then I left and I didn't come back until I moved back 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago. And but I can tell you right now that my family, my wife, my three kids, we are all stronger and closer as a result of that, right? Because it positions you to be independent and rely upon the person that you're sharing a table with every night, or hopefully every night. um, and there's a resilience that comes from it, and I guarantee you that your three kids will absolutely cherish the memory of living somewhere else, because um, now they're wherever you end up, whether it's back here in Idaho or whatever wherever it's leads you to, um, they will cherish that experience because of what it meant to be, as a family in an isolated area where the rest of our people are gone. And there's just something incredibly powerful about kids that go through that are positioned with a lot of support, which I know you and Kelsey provide. There's a deep value in that, which I think is something I always I can relate to, but I've always appreciated. At the same time, there are those that don't leave, like Mike, and we talked about this, Whitney. They haven't left, but that's not because they didn't want to or they wouldn't. It's because the opportunities and moments have always provided them to be where they are, and be where they are wholeheartedly, and develop relationships, and instill trust in the community, and so many different aspects of that are important to life. um, the challenges that Mike and Megan have gone through with like Trenton and stuff like that would have been really, really hard to not be close to family, right? Like there's reasons we're given experiences and we are where we are.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody very wise, a religious leader that we're all very familiar with, said, "Lift where you stand." Right, wherever that is, doesn't matter. Just lift where you are, and you're going to be you're important one way or the other. but you make a big impact wherever you are at that moment in time. Tuesday, I couldn't lift very much because my legs hurt, but anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it comes down to that perspective. I think that's a good word overall, is just your perspective and being mentally ready for wherever you're supposed to be. I think that's good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what both of you have said.
Well,
we are doctors.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it.
Just kidding.
Then I realized I had to go to school for a couple more years. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
It's a long road.
Mine would be a doctor in HR, which, let's be honest, that means nothing. Like, I mean, come on. What am I going to do?
You can hand out Band-Aids when you fire them.
An HR doctor. Oh, I've fired more than my fair share. So we know that, right?
It's nothing to brag about.
No, it's not. And actually, let go versus fired. Let me just rephrase that. I had to let go of people rather than fire them. So, well, Jordan, it's been awesome to have you on here. We really appreciate it, and look forward to the next steps and the next stories that come with your family. And if there's a future move, make sure you call Mike. He's happy to lift whatever. Whatever you can, or call me because I work for a moving company. We can get you up here. They can get you up here.
There you go.
Yeah, just make sure they do a signing thing, a bonus that they pay to hire somebody, and then we'll just go full circle.
Yeah, just say I got a connection.
I like this.
Perfect.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys thinking of me.
Yeah, it's been fun, and I think Mike's onto something. We got to get Kelsey on here and get her side of the story for whatever good that is.
Yeah. Hers might be a little different than mine, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Well, with that, appreciate it, Jordan, again, and we'll close it out, and we'll see everybody on the next episode. Thanks, guys.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
This has been Lift Me Up. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe so more people get the content. We can't wait to be back for the next show. But in the meantime, find us on Facebook and Instagram at liftmeup.podcast and the website at liftmeuptalks.online.